and a very warm welcome to our special edition Parliament This Week from the Parliament House Complex, your weekly roundup of all important developments in Parliament. I'm Kriti Mishra, and now let's begin the show. As the historic 250th session of the Rajya Sabha came to a close, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu complimented the members for a productive session. He summed up the course of the session as one marked by brevity and seriousness. He also complimented the members as the House collectively showed that parliamentary democracy is about contemplation of ideas and ideologies, rather confrontation.
Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Friday complimented members of the upper house for sustaining the positive momentum of the last session during the winter session of Parliament. The chairman said spirited arguments and counter-arguments were made from both the sides, and while the opposition flagged their concerns, the Treasury benches sought to address them in equal spirit.
While the last session recorded productivity of 104% by availing more than the available time for transacting the business, this session too clocked almost around 100% productivity. This is perhaps for the first time that this House recorded 100% productivity for two successive sessions.
The chairman also held a first-of-its-kind meeting with the chairmen of parliamentary committees. He has written to leaders of all the parties and groups in this House, seeking to ensure quantitative and qualitative participation in the meetings of these committees.
Concern about functioning of department-related standing committees and other committees of the House has emerged. I held a meeting with the chairman of all these 20 committees on the 5th of this month to share my concern. I was told by some chairman that it was first of its kind. Subsequently, I have written to the leaders of all parties and groups in this House seeking to ensure quantitative and qualitative participation in the meetings of these committees, given the criticality of the role in the functioning of our parliamentary democracy.
Chairman Naidu also thanked all sides for their cooperation in making it a productive session. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Perhaps for the first time, the upper house recorded 100% productivity for two consecutive sessions. While in the last session, the productivity of the upper house was around 104%, in the winter session, the upper house clocked a productivity of 100%. The productivity of Lok Sabha stood at 116%. Here are the details.
Meaningful debates were witnessed in the upper house on a wide gamut of issues in the winter session of Parliament. Over 20 sittings and against a total scheduled available time of 108 hours 33 minutes, the House functioned for 107 hours 11 minutes, resulting in a productivity of 99%. A total of 11 hours 47 minutes, accounting for about 11% of the available time of the House, was lost due to interruptions. However, making up for lost time, the members sat for 10 hours 52 minutes beyond scheduled hours, resulting in productivity of close to 100% during this session.
I am very pleased to note that this House of Elders have demonstrated its resolve to send out a positive message by turning out 100% productivity during the last and this session. I tend to strongly believe that this new normal will stay for all the times to come. Whenever there is loss of time, we made out for the loss by sitting extra. That's why this percentage came. The debates on the state of economy, the Pegasus spyware issue, the surrogatory bill and the Citizenship Amendment bill, etc. have brought out the best from all sides in this August House. Spirited arguments and counter-arguments were made from both the sides. While the opposition flagged their concern, the Treasury benches sought to address them in equal spirit. This heightened quality of debates deservedly got the media space, providing a point that it is not disruptions alone fetch space, but meaningful debates get even more. I compliment all of you for the same.
15 bills were passed in the session, including some landmark bills, like the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Bill, that is the first of its kind for transgender persons. Other major bills included the Citizenship Amendment Bill, the Constitution 126th Amendment Bill, extending reservation for SCs and STs in the legislatures by another 10 years, the bill banning e-cigarettes, the International Financial Services Centre Bill. After a long time, the upper house discussed and returned the appropriation bill.
The major highlights of session is passing of Citizenship Amendment Bill, SC/ST Reservation continuation, the Arms Amendment Bill, Chit Fund Amendment Bill, National Capital Territory of Delhi, recognition of property rights and of residents in unauthorized colony Bill 2019, the Transgender Persons Protection Rights Bill 2019, the Recycling of the Ship Bill 2019. These are the important bills.
39% of the total time was spent on legislative business, 25.4% on raising and discussing matters of urgent public importance under short duration discussion, 2 calling attention notices, 0 hour and special mentions, 13% on question hour meant for ensuring accountability of the executive, and 5% on private members' bills. During this session, a total of 199 0R and 115 special mentions were made at the rate of a record over 14 and 7 respectively per day. This is a substantial improvement over 9 0R and 5.50 special mentions made per day during the last session.
I would like to sum up the course of this historic session as one marked by seriousness and brevity. The seriousness is born out of definite sense of purpose of enhancing the dignity of this august institution. Brevity has manifested itself in adhering to the time limits, resulting in more number of stalled questions, orally answered, and 0 hour and special mentions made, besides more number of members intervening in debates during this session. I am particularly happy over all of you collectively demonstrating that parliamentary democracy is more about contestation of ideas and ideologies than confrontation, which carries a tinge of conflict in its womb. The quality of debates on several occasions bear this out. Effectiveness of parliamentary democracy is critically dependent on efficient functioning of legislature.
171 start questions, accounting for 67% of the total 255 questions scheduled to be taken up, were orally answered in the session. This came to 9.5 questions orally answered per day, which is the best performance in the last 49 years since 1971, for which data is available. The previous best has been 8.71 start questions orally answered per day during the 198th session in 2003. The Lok Sabha also witnessed a highly productive winter session. The lower house recorded a productivity of nearly 116%. During the session, 18 bills were introduced in the Lok Sabha, out of which 14 were passed. A total of 20 sittings were held, clocking 130 hours, 43 minutes. Oral answers were given for 140 start questions.
130 घंटे 14 मिनट यह सत्र चला। कुल 20 बैठ के सत्र की हुई और इस सत्र में भी 28 घंटे 45 मिनट समय से देर रात्रि तक माननीय सदस्यों ने अपनी उपस्थिति से इस सदन को चलाया और ये कह सकते हैं कि इसकी प्रोडक्टिविटी भी 115% रही।
All 20 start questions listed for the day were taken up on 27th of November in Lok Sabha. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Parliament passed the historic Citizenship Amendment Bill during the winter session. In fact, Home Minister Amit Shah assured the Indian Muslims that they don't have to worry, as this particular bill only seeks to grant citizenship to those facing religious persecution in countries of Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh.
After Lok Sabha, the upper house passed the landmark Citizenship Amendment Bill. Home Minister Amit Shah sought to allay the concerns of Indian Muslims by saying they have nothing to fear as they are and will remain citizens of India.
ये धार्मिक प्रताड़ना के आधार पर जो लोग आए हैं उनको नागरिकता देने का सवाल है। यहाँ के माइनॉरिटी और विशेषकर किसी भी मुसलमान को चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं है। ये मैं स्पष्टता के साथ कहना चाहता हूँ, किसी को भी चिंता करने की। कोई आपको बरगलाए, कोई डराए, डरिए मत। ये नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार है और संविधान के स्पिरिट के साथ चल रही है। माइनॉरिटी को पूरा प्रोटेक्शन मिलेगा, इसमें किसी को
The Home Minister also said the BJP had clearly indicated its intent to bring such a legislation in its election manifesto for the 2019 general elections, and the people of the country voted for it overwhelmingly.
कि हमने चुनाव के पहले ही ये इरादा देश की जनता के सामने रखा था, जिसको देश की जनता ने जन समर्थन दिया है और देश की जनता ने शासन करने का मंजूर। लोकतंत्र के अंदर जनादेश से बड़ी कोई बात नहीं हो सकती। हमने इस घोषणा पत्र के अंदर लिखा था, हम पड़ोसी देशों से प्रताड़ित धार्मिक अल्पसंख्यकों के संरक्षण के लिए सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट बिल को लागू करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है और इसको लागू करें।
Members cutting across party lines participated in the discussion on Citizenship Amendment Bill 2019. BJP MP JP Nadda, while speaking on the bill, reminded the Congress of its former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's speech of 2003, wherein he sought for a more liberal approach in granting citizenship to refugees and persecuted minorities from countries like Bangladesh.
हमको यह भी मालूम है कि 1950 में जब इंडिया ने अपना संविधान अडॉप्ट किया और उसको लागू किया, तो हमने कहा वी द सोशलिस्ट सेक्युलर रिपब्लिक ऑफ इंडिया। हमने सेक्युलर होना तय किया, धर्मनिरपेक्ष देश बनाया भारत को। लेकिन पाकिस्तान ने इस्लामिक नेशन पाकिस्तान को घोषित किया, यह हमको मालूम है।
Several parties joined ranks with the government.
Prime Minister to revisit and rethink and add their names and Muslim also. But of course, we are supporting the bill. We will support this position. I rest you.
बाहर से लोग नहीं आ रहे थे और यहाँ ऐसी कोई बात हो ही नहीं सकती। हमारा देश एक रिपब्लिक है और जो फिगर दे रहे थे हमारे नड्डा साहब, आप फिगर को देखिए ना। हमारे देश में जितने भी नागरिक हैं सबको समान अधिकार है और सबको आगे बढ़ने का अधिकार है, और यही कारण है कि इस देश में एक नहीं तीन राष्ट्रपति माइनॉरिटी समाज से हुए।
The opposition parties alleged that the bill is against constitutional provisions.
पर सिटीजनशिप का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है माननीय? वो भौगोलिक टेरिटोरियल है, जन्म से है, स्वयं के जन्म से, माता पिता के जन्म से, और हमारे संविधान निर्माताओं ने तो आगे जाकर ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स के जन्म से भी किया कि जो विस्थापित थे, जो पीड़ित थे, बंटवारे के बाद क्या संविधान निर्माताओं का यह सम्मान करना है?
How many people have lost their documents? Poor people. How many millionaires will be missing from this? None. These are poor people who've lost their documents in floods, who've lost their documents through ethnic violence. The Motuas you talk about in Bengal. Arey Baba, the Motuas have been voting, living, deemed citizens for the last 50 years. They've been voting in Bengal. What new thing are you giving them? You're packaging it better.
अल्पसंख्यकों के साथ दुर्व्यवहार करते हैं, इसलिए हमारे देश में अगर कोई दल, कोई संगठन, कोई व्यक्ति भारत को धर्म शासित राज्य, चाहे इस्लामी राष्ट्र, चाहे खालिस्तान, चाहे हिंदू राष्ट्र बनाने की वकालत करे, उसका खंडन कीजिए और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को खुले तौर पर ऐलान करना चाहिए कि चूंकि धर्म शासित राज्य अत्याचार करता है अपने नागरिकों के साथ, इसलिए हम किसी प्रकार के धर्म शासित राज्य का समर्थन नहीं करेंगे, बल्कि उन लोगों को रोकेंगे।
कि एनआरसी अलग है, सीएबी अलग है, नहीं साहब अलग नहीं है। एनआरसी में पैदा हुई दिक्कतों ने आपको प्रेरित किया कि एक ऐसा बिल लेके आओ कि अपनी कमजोरियों को छुपा लो। कमाल का बिल है। गुरखा कहां गए? कौन लोग हैं वो? स्टेटलेस सिटीजन का क्या करोगे? बांग्लादेश की प्रीमियर कहती है कि हमको प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भरोसा दिया है। किसकी बात माने? उनकी बात माने, आपकी बात माने, किनकी बात माने?
Internationally leave out Muslims. The message, discrimination, exclusion, the second-class citizenship based on religion. This justification is faulty. Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Muslim majority countries, by definition, where Muslim cannot be prosecuted, this is false. Home Minister must understand that is false.
The Narendra Modi government had moved a similar citizenship amendment bill in the previous Lok Sabha, which had passed the bill, but it lapsed with the end of the Lok Sabha's tenure in May this year. In the new citizenship amendment bill, the areas mentioned in the 6th schedule of the Constitution and those under inland permit have been excluded from the purview of the bill. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Parliament passed the Constitution 126 Amendment Bill to extend reservation for SCs and STs in Lok Sabha and state legislatures for another 10 years. Here are the details.
Parliament passed the Constitution 126th Amendment Bill during the winter session. Replying to the debate in the upper house, Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad assured the House that the Modi government will not end reservation or do anything which is against the spirit of the Constitution.
मोदी जी की सरकार आरक्षण कभी समाप्त नहीं करेगी, ये हम साफ साफ कहना चाहते हैं। सर, मुद्रा लोन सर हमने 21 करोड़ दिया सर, इसके 55% बेनिफिशियरी एससी, एसटी और ओबीसी हैं सर। उज्ज्वला योजना में सर 8 करोड़ एलपीजी कनेक्शन दिया, इसके 50% बेनिफिशियरी एससी, एसटी हैं। पीएम आवास योजना में लगभग 90 लाख में लगभग 25 लाख एससी बेनिफिशियरी हैं और 22 लाख एसटी बेनिफिशियरी हैं।
The reservation for Anglo-Indians in the form of nomination is set to expire on 25th of January as the bill does not extend the facility to the community. Several parties demanded that the government consider extending reservation to Anglo-Indians under the bill.
जहां मुझे इतनी खुशी है कि इस SC/ST रिजर्वेशन को 10 साल के लिए बढ़ाया जा रहा, उतना ही मुझे अफसोस कि एक और प्रोविजन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में एंग्लो इंडियन, उनके लिए रिजर्वेशन पार्लियामेंट में थी, लोकसभा में 2 सीटें और 14 विधानसभाओं में भी उनके लिए रिजर्वेशन थी। तो ये कितना अन्याय कि हम एक ही बिल में एक रिजर्वेशन को 10 साल के लिए बढ़ा रहे हैं और दूसरी माइनॉरिटी, बिल्कुल मिनिस्कूल माइनॉरिटी न होने के बराबर, उसकी रिजर्वेशन खत्म कर रहे हैं विधानसभा।
उसमें ये आरक्षण निरंतर बना रहेगा, बना रहना चाहिए जब तक मानसिकता में बदलाव नहीं होगा। ये तो मैं केवल एससी और एसटी की बात कर रहा हूँ, यही स्थिति बैकवर्ड्स की है। और एंग्लो इंडियन की मान लीजिए संख्या कम है, तब तो बहुत जरूरी है कि उनका कोई न कोई प्रतिनिधि होना चाहिए।
Reservation to members of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes given for the past 70 years in Lok Sabha and state assemblies is due to end on 25th of January 2020. With approval of both the houses, the bill will now be sent to states for ratification by 50% of the assemblies before it comes into force. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Parliament also passed the Arms Amendment Bill 2019 during the winter session. The government said that effective control over arms and ammunition was absolutely imperative for ensuring the safety and security of the nation.
According to provisions of the Arms Amendment Bill, a person will be able to keep 2 licensed firearms as against 3 allowed at present. Replying to a debate on the bill in the upper house, Minister of State for Home G. Kishan Reddy said heirloom or heritage weapons could be kept if they have been deactivated.
आपका ये सुविधा दिया गया, देश भर के जो जितने भी राजा महाराजा है, जो दादा परदादा से आए, उनके लिए ये घोषणा कर रहा हूँ, आप लोग ये गन रख सकते हैं, मगर जो फायरिंग करने वाला गन है वो गन 2 ही रख सकते, बड़ा रखो, छोटा रखो। 1 साल के अंदर, 1 साल का समय दिया है, 1 साल के अंदर आप उसमें सरेंडर करना, नहीं तो कोई लाइसेंस होल्डर का आर्म्स डीलर के पास रख सकते हैं। आर्म्स डीलर सरकार से लेंगे, कौन खरीदा है, कौन लाइसेंस होल्डर खरीदा है, कौन से शॉप से खरीदा है, कौन सा फैक्ट्री में तैयार हुआ है, वो भी रिकॉर्ड आने वाले दिन में सरकार लाना चाहते हैं, जो बुलेट्स के ऊपर भी रिकॉर्ड आने वाले दिन में होगा।
Participating in the debate, members underscored the need to effectively curb crimes committed by using illegal firearms. The bill also accords special status to sportspersons who need firearms and ammunition for practice and participating in tournaments. As per the bill, those who own more than 2 firearms will have to deposit the third one with the police station concerned or authorized gun dealers. The new legislation has a provision for life imprisonment for those who snatch or loot arms and ammunition from police or other security forces. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Parliament also passed the Recycling of Ships Bill 2019 during the winter session. The government assured the House that India will not be allowed to become a dumping ground for hazardous waste.
Replying to a debate in the upper house on the Recycling of Ships Bill 2019, Shipping Minister Mansukh Mandavia told members that the bill would protect the interest of labourers and would ensure environmentally sound recycling. The minister said that India's 7,500 kilometre long coastline provides natural opportunity for boosting the ship recycling business in the country.
उसमें हैजार्डस मटेरियल दो टाइप का होता है, एक प्रोहिबिटेड होता है और एक रेगुलेटेड होता है। तो प्रोहिबिटेड तो उसमें डालना ही नहीं है, रखना ही नहीं है। जो रेगुलेटेड है, ऐसे हैजार्डस वेस्ट जब शिप में उपयोग करने के लिए रखे तो उसकी तब से ही उसको इन्वेंट्री बनानी है। इन्वेंट्री बनाने के बाद ही उसको ये शिप को समुद्र में जाना है, तब ही उसको परमिशन मिलेगी। ये इन्वेंट्री हर 5 साल में उसको रिन्यू कराना है, उसको चेक करवाना है कॉम्पिटेंट अथॉरिटी के पास जाके, या तो जिस कंट्री का फ्लैगशिप है उसकी कॉम्पिटेंट अथॉरिटी है उसके पास जाके उसको इन्वेंट्री को फिर से रिन्यू कराना है।
Cutting across party lines, majority of Rajya Sabha members supported the bill but sought better safeguards for workers and environment protection in the new law itself or its rules.
I was just looking at some of the reports, and we'd say that almost there are 154 shipyards along the coast, but there is no waste reception facility anywhere. We are talking about waste that comes out, but there is no facility which receives this waste. So I think that needs to be incorporated, whether in the bill or whether in the rules. There is no waste reception facility, sir.
We are happy that we are leading the world so far as the dismantling industry is concerned. But at the same time, we must be also concerned that so much of debris we are collecting in our own country, telling upon the environment, telling upon the security and safety of our workers engaged in the industry. So this is also a question of concern for the entire countries.
जो सबसे ज़्यादा सावधानी बरतने की है वो ये है कि उसमें काम करने वाले लोगों को उसके जो एनवायरनमेंटल हैजार्डस इफेक्ट हो सकते हैं उनसे कैसे बचाया जाए, और में काम करने वालों पर असर नहीं होता है, वो आसपास भी असर करते हैं।
The bill provides that the national authority will carry out periodic surveys to verify the prescribed requirements. The authority will be notified by the central government to administer, supervise and monitor all activities related to ship recycling. The bill also provides that the owner of every new ship must make an application to the national authority to obtain a certificate on the inventory of hazardous materials. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
So that's all we had for you in this edition of Parliament this week. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television.